Okay, brethren, welcome back. Welcome to all the new subscribers and welcome to all the old subscribers. Good to have you all here. Today we've got a bit of an interesting one. Done things a little bit differently. So what we're going to talk about today is weightless fishing, a couple of different styles and formats of it. And before we get into the how, we're actually going to make one of the baits that we use. And there's a reason for that. When we did the Make the Bait program, I mentioned that I ordered some stuff from Bugmolds, which is in the Ukraine. And a couple of the American subscribers asked if I would show some of the Bugmold stuff, because maybe they hadn't had a look at it yet or they wanted to order some of it. I'm not too sure. From the outset, guys, I want to make it super clear. I am not sponsored by Bugmolds. They have not paid me to do this show. I paid for all the stuff that you're going to see, and there's some other stuff which is either coming or you haven't seen. So it is on me. If we ever have the situation where stuff is given to me to try or whatever, I will tell you. I have also told Victor, who is the guy that runs the place, or he's the owner or one of the owners, that this episode is going up this Saturday. So they are fully aware of all of that. There is not very many bad things that I can say. There's nothing bad that I can say about the molds. I've been injecting my own plastic now for around about 15 years. I've got molds from pretty much every single company that has made molds, except maybe Fat Boys. And so I've got a wide experience. Most of the plastic injection that I have done has been single colors. In this video, you're going to see me do a dual laminate. And I've been doing it for a little while now, maybe a month and a half. So if I make mistakes, you'll forgive me. Bugmolds about the company. If you are ordering straight from the website, you will have absolutely zero issues. Order, pay, deliver. Bang, done. First order that we did was the stuff was here, I think, in 13 days. So that's from the Ukraine to the UK. Don't know what's going on there. I don't know where they are in relation to the unrest that's happening. The company is in relation to the unrest that's happening there at the moment. If you are ordering bespoke stuff, in other words, if you want to have a mold specially made for yourself, a custom mold, it gets a little bit trickier. And again, I don't know what the situation or the scenario is in the Ukraine right now, but I will tell you, if you want custom molds, you are going to have to be patient when you start doing your emailing. It can take a few days for him to get back to you. From the pattern that I've kind of worked out, having bought from them a couple of times now, it seems that he checks emails twice a week. Something along those lines. I don't know if that is the case. That's what has been the case with me. So if you are ordering custom stuff, be prepared. You need to be patient. Stuff off the website, no problem. Order, pay, deliver. Done. Good. Right. Now that we've got that out the way, this week we are going to talk about fishing weightless. I always say to you guys, oh, that's one of my favorite lures. This is one of my favorite techniques, whatever the case is. This is not one of my favorite techniques. For me, this is the technique. You will never see me go fishing anywhere, in any country in the world for bass, without a weightless rod on my boat. A lot of guys do not like weightless fishing because they don't understand it. That's fine. The point of this week's episode is to help you to understand weightless fishing. And a lot of this stuff you are going to have to accept and go and do it for yourself, and then you will understand. It makes it more understandable what I'm trying to tell you. a lot of people will also tell you you can only fish weightless at certain times of the year. I am here to tell you that when I was in South Africa, as I don't have a boat here in Scotland, for those of you that don't know, there are no bass in Scotland, so there is no bass fishing here. I fish once a year, I go to the States, I go and visit my brother friend. In South Africa, when I had my boat and I was fishing a lot, where I live, we could fish 12 months of the year. The weightless rod did not come out of the boat at all, ever. I fished it 12 months of the year. There is a time and place every single time you go fishing to throw a weightless lure. Now, it is not an easy technique, but it is a technique that once you have worked it out, even just a little bit, every time you do it, you will learn more and more and more. Good. So, our 7-foot medium heavy rod is perfect for fishing a weightless bait. Now, you can fish any bait that you want weightless, providing you, the angler, can cast it. What we are going to focus on today is soft stick baits, Senko type baits, and soft jerk baits, super fluke type baits. The important thing here that you need to be aware of, guys, is this is a finesse technique. In other words, the lighter the line you are prepared to use, the better it's going to go for you. It is weightless fishing. You are chucking a chunk of plastic and you've got to make it live. But in our particular case, it's just the chunk of plastic and a hook. So if you can throw it, you can fish it. I'm going to leave all of that discovery to you guys. Today, Senko, fluke. That's what we're doing. So the important thing here, when we break this tackle down, and it's very straightforward, when you go out and you purchase your soft plastic baits, regardless of what they are, make sure they have loads of salt in them. And you will not hear me say that very often about soft plastic baits. I don't like a lot of salt in my soft plastics. When I make my own soft plastic baits, my salt, if I have to use salt, my salt percentages are less than 5%. I'm not even going to get into what other companies' salt percentages are, but do a little bit of research. I'll put up some brands at the end of the video, like we always do, of baits that have plenty of salt in, and that is purely to make, for in this particular technique, to make them sink and to allow you to throw them weightless. Good. Right, 7-foot medium heavy, spinning or casting. The reel is not important. The purpose of the reel in this technique is to hold line. If you want to go the braid route, like with the spinning rod, let me tell you, it pains me to say this, people, but spinning rod is very good for this particular technique because of the way the line comes off the reel. Us people that don't use spinning rods have very expensive casting reels to get the same result as the spinning reel in this particular technique. If you're going to use the braid on the spinning reel, make sure you use a good long fluorocarbon leader. So what I would do if it was me, if I was using the braid on a spinning rod, I would probably have a fluorocarbon leader twice the length of the rod. A lot of the time when you, not all the time, but a lot of the time when you fish weightless, it's done in super clear water, and there's reasons for that we'll get into. Okay. So reel not important, rod important, line very important. Bait caster, guys, from 8-pound fluorocarbon up to, if you're fishing in really, really thick stuff with very big Senko type baits or big 8-inch flukes or something like that, you can go up to 15-pound fluorocarbon. Middle ground, if you're nervous, 12-pound. If you're a bit more gutsy, 10-pound that's where it is. I normally fish 8 and 10-pound, depending where I'm fishing and what the water clarity is like. Okay. My personal weightless rod is a 7'3" medium heavy extra fast. I like the extra fast tip for the weightless technique. That is my personal rod. Your 7-foot medium heavy fast rod that we've spoken about from the beginning of this channel is going to get it done. It will get it done. Weightless fishing is all about feel. So in this particular case, go max your budget if you're going to buy a rod specifically for this technique. The most expensive rod you can afford, that is the one that you want. The one with the highest tonnage of graphite in the blank, that is the one. The most sensitive rod you can afford is the one that you want. Okay. We're going to go to, this is how this video is going to work now. We're going to go and make a bait for the video. You guys can have a look at it. It's for the guys that wanted to know about the Bugmolds products more than anything else, but we are going to use that bait in this video. So we're going to go and make a bait. Then we're going to go to the close-ups, discuss a few things, and then we're going to come back to the main camera. Cool. So we'll see you at the kitchen sink. Okay, let's get this show on the road. So before we start this, I want to make it very clear, I am not in any way sponsored by Bugmolds. This will be my second order that I've got from them. They have not asked me to do this. They have not paid me to do this. I am literally doing this because this is the only molds that I can get reliably and at a price that's not extortionate where I live currently. So the first thing that we ordered from them was their double injector. Here it is. Not having owned a double injector before or a dual injector before, I have nothing to compare it to, but I can say that the machining quality and everything else is fantastic. And guys, I have already used this, so I know what I'm doing with it. So this is just a standard single injector, 2 of them, that you would use normally when you were doing a single color. And then when you want to do the dual injection or the double injection, it's got these little nozzles. And these little nozzles fit into the blending block there, which I'll show you just now. Just screws into the front of the single injector nozzle. Like that. Not complicated. Blending block is very straightforward. One color comes to the middle blend. It's got 2 little O-rings there just to hold those little nozzles that I showed you secure. 2 nice pins and a machine screw to hold it in place with a butterfly nut. And then this is the first bug mold that I got. This is 5-inch soft jerkbait. Not exactly like the molds that I'm used to, because you have to use something just to pop the corners when you open the mold. It's no big deal. Once the mold gets hot, they generally pop open. The machining is awesome. You can see it. It's very clean. And then also the location pins, 1 on each corner, obviously. And it's a normal. The nozzles on these are normal. I can't remember what they are now. Is it 5/32 or something like that? No, 5/8. 5/8 nozzles on the injectors. And then just these little machine screws with heads on them just to hold everything nice and tight. I was using 4 when I used it the first time. It's not necessary to use 4, so I just used 2. Okay, I'm going to go and heat up some plastic. We're not going to do all of the colors and glitters and all that stuff today. We're just going to heat it up and we're going to shoot it. Be right back. Okay, here we go. Today we're doing my version of a sprayed grass. So in this jug here, we've got watermelon blue. And in this jug here, we've got smoke with purple flake. So smoke's basically just a few drops of black and a lot of plastic. 2 cups of plastic in each one. This one's 24 drops of green pumpkin Lowworks, 1 drop of Lowworks watermelon, and in this one there is 20 drops of black. No, 15 drops of black. So here we go. Make sure it's closed properly. Gloves, guys. Into the block. Purge. Inject nice and slowly. Hold for a few seconds. Make sure that the sprue is full. Just on dual laminates, for those of you that have not done this, the one very important thing, and I make mistakes regularly, guys, make sure that you have your mold facing the right direction for your top and bottom color. Okay, this refilled the sprue again. Let's get rid of this. Now we let it cool. Okay guys, nice and cool. Let's have a look at the laminate. It's a bit difficult to show this on camera, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. I had problems getting these mold, any mold, not just these molds, to laminate properly, until I realized I was missing a step when I was doing it. And that step is, you make sure that you purge through the blending block before you shoot the mold. And if you do that, your success rate is about 98%. And if I can get it right, guys, you can get it right. So it's got nothing to do with the molds or the injectors or the blending block or anything like that. It's got everything to do with your step by step by step. And if I had paid attention to when I was watching SDG and World's Worst Fishing and Bait Chucking and those guys, I would have remembered that you're supposed to purge before you inject. And I think what that does is it just allows both colors of the plastic to go through the blending block. Make sure that there's no air or any obstruction stopping it from going through, and then you can visibly see that your colors are coming through evenly. It's very simplistic, I know that, and it sounds simplistic, but believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. So that's the bait, one of the baits we're going to talk about in this week's Bass Fishing Basics Tackle and Techniques. That's my sprayed grass. And guys, I'm not just showing you that bait because that's a good one. They're all good. They're all laminated perfectly. Okay, bass fans, I think that we're going to call it good at that one for this week. Thanks for joining us. Next week we'll continue with weightless fishing. Hope to see you all there.